and welcome to episode 2 of the UH Sussex Preceptorship podcast. I'm Harry.
I'm Gemma.
And we're your hosts.
So, as you quite rightly said, this is episode 2, and today we have some of our lovely preceptees. Well, I say preceptees, you guys have just finished your first year. Thank you guys so much for coming. Are you happy just to say a little bit about who you are, where you work, where you did your training, and where you've had your first jobs?
Hi, I'm Lauren. I've just qualified from the University of Surrey. I'm a year in and I work in A&E at St Richard's Hospital.
Brilliant, thank you.
My name's Taylor. I also went to the University of Surrey and I work here at Worthing Hospital in Castle Ward.
I'm Ruth, and I actually did my degree with the Open University, but I also work here at Worthing Hospital on a medical ward.
Brilliant, thank you guys. Really lovely to have you. Just giving up your precious time. So, finished preceptorship, done your first year. How does that feel? How are you feeling now compared to that, if you think back to that beginning, those first couple of weeks?
So much more confident in what I know and just kind of being able to put everything that we've learnt to practice has been really good. And it's nice to almost be that support system for our newly qualifieds coming up, which is lovely.
That's what I like. I like when you get someone new on the ward.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I can start showing you.
Yeah,
I did know stuff.
I'm not anymore.
But this is what I do.
Brilliant. Have you found so obviously you have your time on your ward and you've got your amazing teams around you, and then you've done these study days with us throughout the year. Have you found them useful? What has been good, bad, anything you would
Extremely useful because the days have been protected, so we've been able to have those study days and they've not been taken off us due to staff shortages, sicknesses. We've, no matter what, the ward can be so short staffed and we're still allowed to go to them, which has been really useful.
That's important to you.
Extremely
You
important.
need that protected time.
Yeah.
And then getting off the ward as well, especially if you have a hard week, and then getting to go to your study day, and you have obviously your lovely team there, and you can.
It's such a hard adjustment going from being at uni to working on placements and stuff, and being able to go off and go and do some library time if you wanted to, and because when we were students we had that golden hour, didn't we, where we were able to go and study, so it's nice to still be able to keep that in line with the newly qualified.
But I think what's really great about the preceptorship programme is recognising that actually you're not the only one.
Yeah.
There's a whole group of people just like you who are supposed to know what they're doing and we're
And we
faking
don't.
it.
But you do know.
We know now.
The imposter syndrome is real.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely is.
Had you guys heard of preceptorship before your first job?
So I found out about it in my interview process. It wasn't really spoke about with uni so much. I think from the way uni spoke about it, it was kind of like, you're going to qualify and then you'll be in your job. And it was only when I had my meeting with my matron and the practice development in A&E that they were like, right, we're going to put you on this preceptorship. They gave me the timetable, and then you and Rachel both emailed me and was like, welcome to the team. It was like, oh, I'm part of a team again. It's great.
I'd heard it, the term preceptorship bandied about at university. Didn't really know what it was. And when I had my job interview, my ward manager said that she could offer me a really good preceptorship, and I didn't quite know what that was all about.
You were like, cool.
But actually it was really a great programme, and finding out, going online, registering for it all and all that, it was good to see the breadth and the depth of what was being offered, and I was like, yeah, that's fine, I can do this.
Yeah, it's so lovely as well, because now that we're all getting our own students, I don't know about you guys, but I say to them, if they're like second or third year, I'm like, you guys considering coming here? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, great. And I give them Gemma's email. I'm like, message Gemma, and it's so nice, and I know that they're able to come and approach you guys if need be.
Definitely.
And it's always nice to kind of know about the preceptorship for starting, because other students consider other hospitals, like Surrey. We have so many students that are from Surrey area that come to our hospitals for placements that
Not really sure
they don't really know where they want to go. So if they know that they've got a good preceptorship programme, it could lean them this way.
Definitely. As part of the preceptorship, we obviously ask you guys to, we ask your areas to allocate you a preceptor, so like that sort of critical friend and mentor. How was that process for you?
Mine was lovely because I did my placement as a surgeon, I did my management, and my practice assessor was Darren, who was also a newly qualified.
He was back as
back,
well.
It was like 2 years in, I think, and he was like, "How are you joining Preceptorship?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to do it," and he was like, "Great," and I asked him if he wanted to be my preceptor, and he was lovely. He had done the programme, so he was very familiar. And anything that I needed, that we kind of live locally to each other as well, so we'd meet for a coffee and
That's nice.
go through things. It was lovely, really nice.
Yeah.
I got assigned Tracy as my preceptor straight away, and I think my first day she was immediately like, "Okay, what logins do you need? What, always pinpointing me, just really, really on it." And then within the first week, I had my ID card, and that's obviously always a bit of a trouble for quite a few new employees. And then we did my first workbook. She got me on EPMA straight away, and it was just like how quick it was. And it was helpful having someone that was obviously a deputy ward sister, being able to make sure that I got everything I needed so I can just get to work basically and get learning.
Definitely. So just clarifying for our listeners, the EPMA is the prescribing system, and some of these health systems, which I would imagine every hospital has their different things, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So
Well, A&E.
A&E with paper drug charts.
yeah, so
And
very
our old school.
different.
Yep.
Yeah, different. But you mentioned the workbooks.
Yes.
So we do have workbooks as part of the Preceptorship programme, but they're not designed to be anything too stressful. I'm hoping that was your experience.
No.
But do be honest and share.
I mean, it was one of those things that initially I thought, oh my God, it's like being back at uni, like having workbooks, but working through it and chatting and things like that, it saved future me a lot of time. So being able to do those few revalidations, for like the reflections, just means that in revalidation it's one less thing to do.
Yeah, we did it with access as well. And it's all through Iris, obviously this trust's education platform. They were just so easy to find and book on study days, and then obviously then it was kind of like a ripple effect when you went on Iris, because then you just found all of these.
You just
studies.
get in a loop.
All of them.
Book. Thinking back to the module, and I think there's 8 days, I should know. There's 8 days in the module. Thinking back to one of those days, which day did you enjoy particularly, and how has it helped you going forwards?
Do you want to go first?
Go on, Ruth, we'll start with you first.
Well, I think I enjoyed pretty much all of them. Some more so than others. I mean, the one that sticks out for me, I think, is the patient safety day, and that's we went through all sorts of things on that. But what really sticks in my mind is when Shane, I think her title was the harm-free officer,
Harm-free care matron,
harm-free care matron for the trust. She came in with a load of suitcases, and we were like, oh yeah, what's in there? And she started unloading all these things to add to a poor unfortunate victim who had to put on like weights on their arms and their legs, and just to simulate how an old frail person might feel once they've been in bed for a week, and then trying to get them up and move them about ward. And there are even these little glasses that you put on which simulated like macular degeneration and things like that. So it's being able to put yourself in the shoes of that old frail patient who is not well and is deconditioning, and that really has stuck in my head.
Good.
That this is how a lot of my patients on the ward must feel, and how difficult it is for them to just, we're saying, oh, you must get up out of bed today, but actually it's given me more of an understanding of what those issues look like for that person.
Yeah, and how important it is to do it as well, isn't it? To try and prevent that in the first place. Yeah, definitely. That was just one of my favourites too.
Yeah, I like when it's more interactive. Because it sticks in your mind more, I think, rather than death by PowerPoint.
Yeah.
But I really liked the end of life study day. I think it was really nice to go through, and you had the palliative care team that came on. We even got to, have the syringe driver and be able to get familiar with that kind of technology. And it kind of highlighted maybe what I might want to pursue later on. after this preceptorship, maybe if I want to go down a different route. But it was quite nice. I think sometimes you come in and you're like, this is what I want to be.
Yeah,
this
exactly.
is the nurse I want to do. And then having those study days, you actually highlight things like, actually, that was really interesting. It's like, oh, maybe this is what I want to look into further. But
Yeah, definitely.
The linking in with the specialist nurses is a really important
you
part.
get to see so many different teams.
And so many different roles that you don't actually see too much as a student going around the hospital. Like there's some, like the dementia specialist nurse, I can't remember who it was.
You had Cassie.
Yeah, and it was just so lovely, like just knowing that was an official role and all the other courses that they had to offer for if it was something you wanted to pursue was really interesting. But going back to that interactive sessions, mine was the sim. I loved simulation. It was really, really interesting to kind of work on those skills and put them all to practice, and A to E assessment, just getting your fundamental skills under your belt and knowing a deteriorating patient before you've even spoke to them, just by looking at them from the end of the bed is really important.
Definitely. That's one of my favourites too.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
I don't know why.
So I.
And I mean, preceptorship was never meant to be an extension of your learning. You've done your learning. It's about bringing it all together, isn't it? And I think, like you said earlier, one of the big bits is having that time away from your clinical environment where you can decompress, where you can think about, oh yeah, I did have a patient who was end of life and it was actually, it did affect me, and now I can share about it because this is a great place where I can feel safe.
Yeah.
And this is the thing with nursing though, it's always learning. Like I came down and did a bank shift
You
in
did?
A&E, totally out of my comfort zone.
But
And
you
I was
did
like,
it.
all right.
It was me and Darren.
I don't think I've ever worked a shift where I haven't learnt something new
Yeah.
for a single shift. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's what's so powerful, and that's what I love about nursing as well, isn't it? It is very mobile. Yeah.
It's also so lovely because you find you're teaching other people new skills that they don't necessarily know. Like we've got a lot of overseas nurses who don't quite follow the way we've been taught straight from uni, and they're learning so much from us as well, which is really, really nice. And you all come from different routes and you're all now working in one clinical area, so you all put your heads together and it's so lovely.
Definitely.
You've got different strengths.
And it's nice to play on those.
Yeah.
You shared about that earlier in your first week off camera. You were talking about your first week, Ruth.
Yes, my background when I was doing my course, I did it by the apprenticeship route, and I worked on a surgical unit on the other side of the trust. And when I came to start on a medical ward at Worthing, I was very much, am I going to know about these medical patients? I'm not going to know anything.
So different, isn't it?
What am I doing here? But actually I found that on one of the first shifts I worked, someone just needed some stitches removing, and nobody on the ward that was working that day knew how to do it. So I was like, oh, well, that's easy, I can do that.
Yeah.
And, so I felt that was really a big confidence booster, because I was able to teach someone in my first few shifts something that they didn't know.
So, yeah, guys, thank you so much for your time today. Our last question would be, if you could go back to yourself in that first sort of 2 weeks, what would you tell yourself on reflection from where you are now? What would you tell your first week you?
I think mine would kind of be take every day as it comes, speak to your peers and always ask questions and utilise your annual leave. And make sure that you do take those times away and make sure that you are taking time off, and it's stressful both physically and mentally. So it's nice to kind of have that time away and then come back and you're fresh, you care better for your patients and you also look after yourself.
Yeah, brilliant.
It's so easy
Excellent
to do
advice.
that.
It's so
I'll
easy
do
to
that shit,
forget.
I'll do that shit.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you want to show off to everyone, like, yeah, I could do that.
It's so
And
easy
before
to
you know it, you're
forget.
like, I had a day off.
Because we're so
2 weeks.
caring and nurturing and like the role that we do, it's so easy to forget about yourself. So I think it's really important that you take those annual leave days off.
I think mine would be, if I was to tell myself something a year ago, would be, again, don't be afraid to ask questions. We're here, everyone's there to answer your questions and help you, utilise your team. We're all in the same boat once, everyone. Sometimes it's easy to forget that you were there once, but I think I've had quite a good experience on the ward that everyone's kind of pitched in to help. All the newbies and people that even have been there for a couple of years still learn something new. But I think that would be the advice I'd want to know.
What about yourself?
And I think just reiterating the point I made just now about, you know, asking questions, recognising what you don't know, but also recognising what you do know that someone else doesn't know, because I think that's important. It's a big confidence booster. And I think also it's very important to, if you can do it, to try and leave work at work and not take it home with you.
And on time.
Because there are, find on time, because there are times when things play on your mind, but if you can find a way of dealing with that, leave work at work.
Definitely.
Thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's been good, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's been really fun.
Thank you.
Cool. So we will see you guys
See you next time.
next time. Bye.